The thing that I really wanted to focus on is just to look at diversity in our classrooms and to see what kind of different diversity we have in our classroom. And as America, as being the melting pot, we're going to have so many different cultures coming in and out of our classrooms that it's really important that we know what we're getting ourselves into. We're going to have Hispanics, mixed, Pacific Islanders, Asians, Blacks, Caucasians, and all of these different races. That's the first thing that people think of when they hear diversity is race, 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 and we can't be racist about things, and that is something that we're going to have to deal with as educators. We're going to have to deal with students getting along with one another and knowing background for other people and knowing just where people have come from and that sort of thing. And I think whenever we go into the classroom, one thing that's really important is that we drive into our students just how to accept one another and how to just see each person as an individual and see each person as someone that's special and someone that thinks and has feelings. And I think if that we're able to do that, we'll create a real unity within our classroom, a unity that just forms bonds between our students. And not only will this help our students, but it'll help the environment in our classroom if we can get over that sense of racism. That's a big diversity issue that a lot of students have problems with, and not only do we need to educate our students on this, but we also need to educate the parents on this. If they can get their kids out there playing with kids of other races, if they can get their kids out there and just making sure that they're exposed to other cultures and making sure that they're exposed to not just America. America's amazing, and we have so many different cultures here that you don't need to just sit in your own. You don't need to just be Irish. You don't need to just be German. But those German kids, to get them plugged in with some Hispanic families and to make sure that overall they're being cultured, because this world is huge, and it's so important that we use that to our advantage, that we have so many different cultures here in America to show our kids that we can all be united and that we can be diversified yet still have that unity within the classroom and have that unity within our daily lives, just making sure that we're taking all the cultures that we have here in America and being able to use that to show kids that people of other cultures are still people and that diversity is a good thing. Another thing that I see a lot in classrooms is the fact that we think that every student learns the same, that we can just lecture and every student's going to pick it up. But in reality, that just frustrates students. It frustrates them because not every student learns the same, and the diversity comes in learning. We have 3 different kinds of learning that go on in our classrooms, and that's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual when you see it, auditory when you hear it, and kinesthetic when you do it. The first thing that I want to concentrate on is the visual of this. Visual learners need to be able to see things done. They need to be able to see examples. They need to be able to see how a problem works out so that they can apply that. I want to teach math, and so for me that means making sure that I'm writing examples out and that I'm writing definitions out. I'm not just saying them, because these students aren't just going to be able to hear it and know it. They're going to need to actually physically see what is going on. Now, in contrast, there are also auditory learners. In math, it's very easy to simply write stuff on the board and think that your students are going to know what you're saying. But if you have an auditory learner, then you need to go ahead and make sure that you're saying everything that you're writing. These students are going to learn by hearing what they need to know. And to make sure that that happens, that means I need to be aware of those students in my class. I need to make sure that they are listening and that their ears are turned on at all times in my classroom, because they may be able to see something, but until they hear it, they're not really going to learn it. The last thing that we're going to have is the kinesthetic, the kids that have to do it. And that means to bring manipulatives into my classroom, to make sure that they have something hands-on that they can touch and that they can see what's going on in their projects. And if they're able to do that, then they'll have a more concrete knowledge of it. For instance, if I was doing multiplication to use base 10 blocks and show them how to do it that way, then they would more readily have that concrete knowledge of what they need to know. And that's pretty much takes care of the diversity in learning. We also have religious diversity in our classrooms. We're going to have students from all sorts of different kinds of religious backgrounds coming in. And I think it's really important that we take time to learn about the different things and why they believe what they believe in. And just so that we can understand that culture just a little bit more of why they are. Now, most students that walk in are going to be Christian, according to the polls. But we're also going to have secular people who don't believe in a God, or we'll have some kids from Jewish backgrounds, or we'll have some from Muslim backgrounds. And in all honesty, if you look at the world map of everything, Muslim culture is much bigger than the Christian culture. And overall, it's important that our students know about these. Our students are aware that others are out there and that they shouldn't be judged because their religion is different. Overall, diversity is a huge part of the education system, and it's so important that we make sure that our kids understand that it is a diverse world and we need to accept one another. And I think the more that we implement in our classrooms, the more accepting be of other cultures and of each other. And I just want to thank you so much for the time that you sat and listened to this, and I hope that you have a fantastic day, and just thank you so much.